Hey there, everybody. Hey, welcome to this latest episode of Movies Merica. Spoiler warning. As always, I'm your host, Van Ebert, and I am a movie maniac and a freedom-fueled film fanatic. And I hope all my fellow movie maniacs and fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics join me here tonight, okay? Because we're talking about a new movie that came out this last weekend here called Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, okay? And this is the latest movie from Sam Rockwell here, as some of you might know. He's a very underrated actor here. He doesn't get the love that he deserves, even though he's an Oscar winner. But you know what? Let's show Sam Rockwell some love here tonight as we go over a Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. Even though the box office didn't show him any love, that's for sure. But that's for after this.
In a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies Merica.
All right, everybody, welcome back here. And real quick, just want to remind you that this is a relax your butt show over here, okay? This is a show that you are supposed to be watching while you're got your legs kicked up, you're relaxing in your Barca lounger or your beanbag chair or whatever, okay? Because it's almost the weekend, everybody. It's Thirsty Thursday. And remember, this is a show about movies, okay? Not insurance policies or taxes or any of that adult stuff. No, this is supposed to be an enjoyable experience here. So relax and yeah, just grab whatever you're drinking. This is what I got on tap right here for tonight. I'm drinking off of this, and I'll be talking about this brew here later on in brew review time. So just to give you a tease on that, but let's get into it without further ado. Some Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, and so. One thing that I noticed about this movie is it does have a couple of similarities to the very first Matrix movie, okay, or well, to the first two Matrix movies. So you got the little, the bald kid at the end here, there, and he just reminded me, the little bald kid who's sitting up on top of the mountain of wires, right, and he's supposed to be like the AI representative, right? He's in there. He's coding fast away, and he's eating, with cheesy poofs and all that, like he's Cartman. And you see him up there on this big pile of wires, And he reminded me of the architect from the Matrix Reloaded, right? Where he's up there and he's controlling everything there. He's behind this computer world, like the Matrix, okay, but in Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, it is like a Matrix of sorts. This movie has a lot of parallels to the Matrix, where you've got the system computers that have put together this intricate, ultra realistic copy of reality, and so that's what AI has done in this movie right here. Is it's created this alternate reality there. And so it just goes. That's why that the little kid, the bald kid at the up on top of the mountain of wires right there, just kind of reminded me of the architect. The old guy in the Matrix Reloaded. He's sitting in the chair. He's got the white beard and all that stuff. He looks like evil, sophisticated Santa Claus. And he loves to use the word ergo. He's always talking to Neo and. It's like, this is the 211th time we've gone through this simulation. Ergo, you have a choice to make the choice of a choice of choice, of the choices of choice and the choices of the choice. That's one thing. Remember that movie, The Matrix Reloaded? Like, my God, they must have got paid like $100 for every usage of the word choice in that movie. And so I'm sitting there in that scene with the architect talking to Neo there, and kind of subtly laughing my butt off there. But that's one. That's one of the similarities between Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die to the Matrix movies. And then I also thought the little kid kind of reminded me also of in the first Matrix where Neo goes to meet the Oracle for the first time, right? And he's sitting out there in the living room with all the little kids, right? And you got the one little kid, the bald kid, right? The one little kid, he's bending spoons and stuff, and he's like, "Don't try to move the spoon, just work with the spoon," or whatever his advice was, right? So it reminded me of that kid there. And it also kind of reminds me of we've got the series going on HBO right now, Night of the Seven Kingdoms there, and the character of Egg on the Night of the Seven Kingdoms right there. So kind of reminds me of that. There's I don't know, maybe it's the balding, it's or not balding, but outright bald head right there. Got a lot of movies here with a lot of content now with bald little boys or something like that right now. But yeah, so it kind of reminded me of that there, and then also I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, in the live chat, the child actor that played the creepy AI bald kid in Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, sitting up on top of that pile of cables. Is that the same creepy kid from Bring Her Back? Remember last year the creepy movie? It was the second movie from the Philippou brothers who did Talk to Me. They had the creepy kid who was like, well, it's pretty graphic. It's a pretty graphic movie, but he liked to do this thing where he would like eat his arm. Okay, stuff like that, right? I mean, we all have our hobbies. Some of us we collect movies. Some of us play basketball. Some of us collect stamps. This kid liked to make a habit of like just gnawing on his arm. Okay, there you go. Apparently, mommy didn't feed him enough or something like that. I don't know right there. And hey, we got Shawnee Mac up in the house, up in the hizzy right over here. And welcome to the show there, my brother. Good to see you right there. And yes, it is indeed party time. Let's go right there. So I'm assuming that he brought the chips, dips, chains, and whips for the said party there. So I brought the music. Hopefully you guys like Lawrence Welk or Marty Robbins or some Gatlin, what is it, Gatlin Brothers? There you go. So all the music and all the young kids are listening to nowadays. Like Karen Carpenter, right? Isn't Karen Carpenter? Isn't she a big time act nowadays? Right. There you go. But yeah, you're right. It's party time. Let's get this thing started over here. But I had some other thoughts here, of course, about Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. And trust me, I'm gonna be screwing up the name of that movie here multiple times here tonight. Trust me here. But actually, it does remind me, Shawnee Mac up in the live chat does remind me to remind you that yes, we do have the live chat available through YouTube and Rumble. And that's the beauty of this show is, you don't have to just listen to me, do this show and listen to me up here, just yapping flapping my gums. And no, you can get into the mix, man. This show is interactive, all right? So you'll get into the live chat and throw at least like a poop emoji or say hi or something like that in the live chat. I mean, I'm not expecting you to put the Old Testament in there. I just say just get in there live chat about whatever you want ultimately. So there you go. I mean, obviously it's a movie show, so chatting about movies would be probably the most obvious thing. But hell, if you want to throw your Aunt Edna's meatloaf recipe in the live chat, that's cool as well. It all counts as engagement, my friend. All counts as engagement. That's cool. As long as Aunt Edna's meatloaf doesn't have tomatoes in it. I'm gonna make myself puke over here. Ugh, tomatoes. Ugh. All right. So, but yeah, it's that's rough, man. See, I just had to go do that. I had to, just put that image in my head, and now I just can't get it out. All right, let's try to move on here. All right, so now one area that this movie does try to spread, the message, as the critical drinker likes to say there, is there's an aspect of this movie where school shootings are so prevalent that the industry of cloning your dead loved one, your loved one that has been shot and killed in a school shooting, that industry of cloning them has flourished. Okay, however, you could just go instead of dealing with school shootings and then having to worry about your child being killed, and then you have to go have them cloned, and of course they're not the same person or anything like that. You could just go with a much cheaper solution of just arming more good people at schools, so your loved one doesn't have to die and you don't need a clone. Like, when you're at a school, or when your kids are at school and some sick, twisted psycho, rolls up on your kid's school and tries to do a school shooting there. And then you have like some good guys. You maybe have a security officer there. You have two or three teachers that have a gun in a locker in the classroom or something like that. When the school shooter comes in there and tries to do some evil. So let me repeat: the shooter, not the gun alone. Okay, so we're not going to call this gun violence. This is a gun tragedy perpetrated by a human being. Okay, so no matter how much people try to make it seem like guns are just floating around shooting people without a human being pulling the trigger there, and they try to get you to think that by calling it gun violence as opposed to a psycho going out there. They don't want to mention the name of somebody shooting up a school. They just say it's just gun violence. We got to get rid of gun violence. Like, well, what I just suggested will actually minimize greatly gun violence right there. Yeah, where you just have a teacher, a couple teachers, a security officer, maybe the gym teacher too, janitor if you want. They're strapped. Okay, like the teachers have a gun in a safe, and then obviously the security officer and anybody walking around the school like a janitor would be strapped there as well. And before that sick puke can have a chance to kill a bunch of kids, you get one of those good guys with a gun, and they turn that sick psycho into Swiss cheese right there. And it's a much cheaper option. Obviously, that's not the most important reason. The most important reason is to save lives, right? And right there. So yeah, in the context of good luck, have fun, don't die. Your beloved son, your beloved daughter, your beloved husband, wife, whatever, they wouldn't die. So you wouldn't have to get them cloned, okay? And then you could have a good story, a heroic story of psycho coming in there, intent on killing as many people as he possibly can, and some janitor just strolling down the hall, with a mop bucket, sees this sick puke, enter the school, or hears a gunshot, and he and some other good guys run down there, and they just ventilate this puke. Okay, and it's a good heroic story. Tonight on Channel 11, we tell you the heroic story of how janitor Seymour Simpson took out a would-be school shooter. More details at 11. You could have a great heroic story like that. But I don't know. It's just the whole cloning part of this movie. It's just a statement on how stupid our society is that we just ignore the obvious cheaper answer, just simply out of emotion, and instead go with a over the top, wrong headed, expensive, ineffective solution instead there. But enough of me ranting about that. But I just thought that had to be said because this movie is kind of portraying like school shootings happen every day. Now, if you ask me, school shootings happen too often, right? And that's why it frustrates me when I'm like, we have a simple simple solution, and it's the most. It's also the most effective solution. Okay, like I said, and you heard my solution there before, but people just don't want to adapt that because people think that when a gun is put into somebody's hands, it just suddenly turns that good person that you put a gun into their hand, turns them into like a kill crazy, bloodthirsty, murderous psycho or something like that. Or they just don't know anything about guns. And so they just, the idea of a responsible, law abiding citizen who just happens to have some guns in a safe, you know, and uses them as like a tool, right? For self defense, or maybe we were talking about hobbies before. Maybe one of their hobbies is going to the range and shooting. That's just it's therapeutic. It's cathartic for them. It's relaxing for them. Now there's a lot of like soy boys and a lot of dainty, fragile people that would shake their head like, "Whoa, how can shooting a gun be relaxing? They're so scary." Well, I mean, yes, you should respect the deadly use of a gun. You should respect the deadly force that a gun has. How deadly it is, and the fact that it can take lives. You definitely should respect that there, but you shouldn't be petrified of them. Now, if you don't ever want to touch a gun in your life, more power to you. That's cool, but don't be that idiot that tries to take guns away from everybody else just because you're afraid of them. Okay, so don't be better than that. Don't be so basic. Don't be so simple. There you go. But enough about guns and school shootings and all that. I just, that was a part of the movie, and I just wanted to get my 1.5 cents in there all about that, everybody. So, real quick here, I just want to, if you guys are still with me, just want to really, really quickly remind you, okay, because I know people hate it when I go over this, but I'm really quickly going to remind you to go ahead and smash that like button right on down there, okay? And then smash that follow or subscribe button down there if you haven't already. Okay, if you already have, don't smash it again because you'll unsubscribe or unfollow, okay? And then also smash that notification bell down there as well. And all that does is just like it sounds. It's just going to send you one lowly email a week, just letting you know that there's a brand new piping hot, totally delicious, scrumdiddlyumptious new episode of Movies Merica waiting just for you. Okay. And then lastly, to my viewers of this episode that didn't have a chance to watch it live, well, yeah, sure, we don't have live chat available to us because you're watching the recording of it right now, but we can still communicate back and forth with each other. Okay. And I do want to see that. But we're just going to have to use the comments section. Okay. And the comments section is, of course, down right below there as well. I want to hear from you. If you want to just let me know, you just give me some feedback and let me know, hey, if I suck, or if I'm somewhere in the middle, like I'm going to meh, or if you just outright love me, adore me. All right, you want to start a fan club. You want to manufacture bobbleheads of me. You want to erect a statue of me. Okay, if you want to throw those kind of comments in the comment section, by all means, ultimately you can comment about whatever you want down in the comment section there, and I read them. I do read them there. I'm not a shrinking violet. If I see a comment that's not so nice, I'm not going to get all scared and all upset about it. No, I will not. So there you go. So and that's it. I'm done. I'm done talking about buttons and clicking on buttons and smashing on buttons and all that stuff. There you go. We can move on with the show. Okay, and real quick here, so how long this show goes is also contingent on, how much you live chat here in the live chat right there. Like Shawnee Mac one, he's got the right idea. All right, he got up in the live chat and got in there and got involved, man. He took the initiative, all right, in live chat in there. So let's get some more people in the live chat, and yeah, let me know. Just a very easy question. Okay, I'm going to make it very easy for you. What is your favorite movie of all time? There you go. Very simple question right there. And so I'm already providing you ideas as far as what to put in the live chat there. Otherwise, if you just want to put a fist bump in the live chat or a poop emoji in the live chat, by all means, right there. Or you can just try to throw me off. Okay, of any game I think I might have on this show. Because as you may suspect, I do have a schedule, like an itinerary, little list of stuff that I go through as I go through the show. And so if you want to just completely throw me off, my plan, off my itinerary, and totally like just hose up the show by throwing me off by your live chat messages, do it, man. Do it. I mean, come on. I'm providing you an opportunity for sick pleasure. There you go. All right. So I don't know. Maybe it's be me because I'm a cruel bastard. I would jump on that opportunity real quick. Okay. So again, or you can just come on and say, "Hi, Van." There you go. It's all you got to do right there. And I'm gonna get a drinky off my brewski here real quick. So hey, if you whatever you're drinking, there you go. All right. Sounds like it's like hailing or something like that. Or yeah, what's the other one? Hailing, and then what's the one where it's like it's rain, but it's not snow. What is it? Hailing. What's the other one? Sleet. It's sleeting. It sounds like it's sleeting out there. Yeah, there you go. Right now, so I hate this time of year, man. I can't wait until it warms up. It's summertime, and I can wear my best wife beater with my best jorts. Can't wait. It's gonna be awesome. There you go. All right. So the plot of the movie, of course, is we've got Sam Rockwell, and he has come back from the future, and he is trying to save the human race from being enslaved by AI. Right? Okay, and kind of like like the Matrix, like I mentioned before. It's the in this case we don't have Keanu Reeves, we have Sam Rockwell trying to save the human race right here, and so I would think that the way to solve the AI just hypnotizing everybody with their phones and doom scrolling and TikToking and all that shit, right? I think the solution to that is, and I think the movie even mentions this at the end, is of course we have the character of Ingrid, and Ingrid is played by Haley Lou Richardson. You might have seen her on the White Lotus, the show on HBO, but she's the one that is in the creepy, disheveled looking princess dress, right? Because her job was to play the princess at little girls' birthday parties, right? And things don't go so well after that. So she's looking all haggard, in this disheveled princess dress, looking like straight up Courtney Love, right? And so, hey, if your name is Kurt, hide. She might have a shotgun. Okay, that's all I'll say. But Ingrid, is portrayed as she's got this allergy to technology. So whenever anyone fires up their smartphone or whatever, or a tablet or something, she starts, getting the willies, right? She starts getting the heebie-jeebies, and sometimes it gets so bad that her nose starts bleeding. Okay, and this happens, a few times in the movie. And so I think the solution to AI's attempt and constant attempts to enslave the human race is to somehow get it to where you can give everyone in the world, everyone, the entire human race, give them that allergy to technology that Ingrid has. Okay, if you go to fire up, TikTok, on your phone, and you start getting the heebie-jeebies and your nose starts bleeding, well, you're obviously not gonna continue on with it. You're like, toss that phone away, like, get away from me, man, But they have to have some way to spread that allergy to technology to everybody there. So, but I think, and correct me if I'm wrong in the live chat, but I think that Sam Rockwell's character, just simply called the Man from the Future, as far as I know, in this movie, I think he actually even says that at the end of this movie there, when they realize, okay, like towards the end of the movie, it's portrayed. You get the movie tries to give the idea like, oh, happy ending. All right, not that kind of happy ending. Okay, not that kind of movie. But they're convinced, that hey, we defeated AI and the sun is shining and everyone we know is coming back. and there's my loved one over there, and everyone's happy, and we're about to hold hands and dance around a tree and wearing flowers and singing kumbaya. We won, woohoo! And then Sam Rockwell recognizes, he sees a clue, and I think the clue is that he sees like the sun up in the sky, and I can't remember what it was because I only seen the movie once, but the sun in the sky like reminds him of an image that AI kept on like putting out there. Okay, like a consistent thing. Kind of reminded me of the scene in the first Matrix where the black cat repeats, right? And Neo notices it. Neo's like, "Well, that was kind of odd. That kind of different." And then Trinity and Morpheus are like, "Wait, why? What was it? What did you see?" "Oh, I don't know. I just thought I saw that cat. Like, thought I saw the cat twice." And then they press him on it and whatnot. And then it turns out, like, well, yeah, he indeed saw the cat twice because the Matrix, they changed something in the Matrix right there. And so that's kind of a glitch that you see when they do that. So that clue that Sam Rockwell's character saw that clued him into the fact, like, oh, crud, we didn't win, man. We didn't win. This is AI knowing that people like a happy ending after a bunch of conflict, after a hero's journey with danger and love and romance and ups and downs and conflict and celebration. After all of that, we all like to see a happy ending there. Woohoo! Yes, we destroyed the Death Star. Where we threw the ring back into the fiery, chasm from whence it came in the Lord of the Rings and Top Gun. Hey, Maverick saved the day at the end of Top Gun. We like a happy ending, and AI knows that. And Sam Rockwell realizes, like, all right, yeah, I don't have a problem with happy endings. I get not those kind of happy endings. All right, there's no massage parlors involved here. Okay, all right. But he likes happy endings just as much as the next person. But this one's like a little too happy. Okay, it's a little too creepy, a little too happy there. So he realizes, oh, AI, I got you. I got you, AI. All right, I know what you're up to there. So he realizes that, this thing is not over with. So he said early in the movie, or at the very beginning of this movie, he said, this was the 117th time that he's tried to save the world. Well, apparently now it's time to move on to the 118th time in this movie right here. So, all right, let me do this here real quick. And I just wanted to mention to you here, it just popped into my head. Apparently, I don't know, not a lot of people wanted to see this movie. Okay, I don't know if it was like just too original, or just looked too weird or something like that, or it just didn't get promoted the right way or anything like that. But this movie bombed at the box office pretty damn hard. Okay, because it came in like it's a brand new release, and it came in like at like 8th place or something like that. It was pathetic here. Let me see here. Let's check this out. Go back here. Look at the weekend numbers. It was sad. So sad. It's so terrible. Right here. I'm looking at the numbers.com or the numbers.com here. February 13th right there. So yeah, let's look at this bad boy. And which one is this here? I came in at number 7. Okay, so number 7. Okay. So Wuthering Heights was number 1. So yeah, so it looks like so it got beat out by 1, 2, 3 movies that have been out already that were not new releases. Got beat by Send Help, got beat by Solo Mio, and it got beat out by Zootopia 2, which has been out for 6 weeks. Oh my god. So yeah, I thought more people would go see this movie because it does have a fun. It did have like some fun trailers, and I like the good luck, have fun, don't die. I just like that chant they did there. I thought that people would be like, oh, that's kind of interesting. There, yeah, it might be worth spending my money on that. And then, I thought that people like Sam Rockwell, but I think like original movies just did not do good this week here. Like original movies that aren't based on anything, they're not based on a book or anime or whatever, right? And so the other original movie was Crime 101 with Chris Hemsworth and I'm trying to think who else was in that. It was Halle Berry and who's the other guy? It was the I know Mark Ruffalo's in it, so that might have been why that movie bombed right there. Is because a lot of people straight up hate Mark Ruffalo. Okay, so that could be why that bombed right there. But all that to say is, yeah, good luck, have fun, don't die. Yeah, it was at the box office this weekend there. So it won't be long. Won't be long now, folks. It will not be long before Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die is not in the theaters, and it's on your Hulu list of movies to watch there. And like I said on Sunday during my spoiler-free review of this movie, I would recommend going to see this at the theater. So if I'm saying that, then I would recommend watching it when it comes out on streaming in about 6 seconds. So there you go. It died a horrible death. All right. So it did not adhere to the third part of the title, the don't die part. It died. It died a miserable, gruesome, ghastly death. The kind of death where you're like, oh God. At the box office, right? That's what kind of death it died at the box office right there. So, but that's the thing is, I mean, and I know lecture time. I keep lecturing like everybody. I know everybody loves it when I lecture. They love it when I lecture about this, but got to go see original movies at the theater, man. Got to go see them at the theater, so that we keep getting original movies. Otherwise, we're just going to get recycled dreck there. But I think that I know what we need to do is we need to take away the convenience of having the movies come out on streaming because it's disincentivizing people from going to the movies right there. I want to go back to, call me old fashioned, I'm an old fudger codger from back in the day. I want things to go back to the 1980s, where things were good, that's awesome, where gas cost 3 cents. I mean, I want that because, a movie would come out in the theaters and then you could not watch that movie again in any way for like a year. Okay. It wouldn't come out. There was no streaming service back in the 80s. Come on. But we had VHS tapes, right? Back then, VHS, Betamax, Laserdisc, something like that, right? Video disc. But you would not see a movie hit any of those things until like at least a year after the movie came out theater. And so theaters were flourishing back then. People were getting together. It was a night to just something you could do on an evening. People, human beings are flocking together. Fellowship, having fellowship in the movie theaters, getting to know each other. You're not just some anonymous name on on social media. It's calling you a garbage human being because you don't agree with their opinion. Like, no, we're so separated nowadays. But back in the 80s, movies were a fantastic time where it was like an event, right? People, let's go to the movies, man. And used to walk in the movie theater lobby. It was packed. People having a good time. And hey, man, I got some popcorn. Would you like to have some popcorn? Oh, yeah. Oh, man, this soda, so good. This Coke. Oh, my God, they got it right here. Oh, did you see? They got hot tamales now. Yeah, hot tamales. No, oh, sweet, man. All right. Hey, what movie going to go see? Me too. Yeah, oh, sweet. Hey, maybe I'll wait to see at the theater, man. There you go. All right. And we had that instead of, being, I'm a Skywalker 69 on Twitter or X, or something like that. I'm not Burn Barrel 77, on TikTok or something like that, right? And you're Steve, and hey, you're Melissa, and you're Jamal, and see, I'm trying to be all like I'm trying to be multicultural over here. I'm trying to be like that, and you're Ling Ling, and you're what am I thinking about? Maria. There we go. Okay, you're getting tired when you can't do simple things like think of names right there. But anyway, that's the end of my lecture about like you got to go to theaters, man. And I know it's easier if the movie's not R-rated, that way you can take the kids and all that stuff. But I know like what some people are doing here, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say about this, is they'll set aside money each month so they have like a movie fund. Okay, so right there, so it's not that hard. I mean, like just just designate some money to come out of your paycheck, to a fund for various things and make movies one of those things right there. That's what I would do. There you go. And put it in a high yield account or something like that. But enough about that right there. I think we need to move on over here. And I think what we need to move on to is a very tasty, very thirst quenching segment of every Movies Merica episode here. And that segment, of course, would be the delicious, succulent brew review time. All right, so let me introduce you to the brew for tonight. All right, so that is Pilsner Urquell is how I'm going to say that. I may be completely butchering that pronunciation there, but as you see, it comes to us from Plzeň. That's how I'm going to say it, is Plzeň, Czech Republic. Okay, and this is the world's first pale lager. It's created by brewer Joseph Grohl in 1842. All right, so yeah, Joe Biden's 33rd birthday. And it replaced the dark, cloudy beers of the era, and it became the blueprint for 70% of the beers that are produced globally today. Okay, so yeah, it was just a step in getting away from like dark, cloudy beers to clearer beers there, and so it was the world's first pale lager. It uses Saaz hops, which provide a characteristic spicy and herbal bitterness there. And hey, the most important part, like, how does it taste, right? Well, it tastes like a balance of biscuit-like malt sweetness and a distinct lingering bitterness, according to some there. Okay, I mean, I'll let you know how I think it tastes there in just a minute. Now, one thing that I tasted in it is like just a very, very, very subtle black pepper taste to it. Again, did I reiterate that enough? Very subtle. Okay, so don't be gagging right now. Okay, and then the aroma here is like kind of. It's got a distinctive aroma to it, and you kind of get that black pepper nose in there as well. Kind of it's very hearty and like a little like, man, almost like if you sniff it hard enough, like if you sniff it like you're Tony Montana sniffing that mountain of cocaine on his desk right here, you do kind of get like a wine kind of smell, a wine kind of scent, from the nose right here. But yeah, but it's a pleasant smell to it here. But I'm more worried about how it tastes, right? And as far as like the foods that it pairs well with, because I always like to include that in here, because like a lot of times, like, I don't want to just drink the beer. I want to use it to wash something down, right? And so the foods that it pairs well with are some of the foods that you would associate with the Czech Republic around that part of the world. Stuff like bratwurst with sauerkraut, schnitzel, rich roasted pork. Then we move on to like shellfish, crab, lobster, whatever, and then Thai, Indian, and Mexican food that this would go very, very well with right here, the old Pilsner Urquell. And so I am recommending the Pilsner Urquell. There, it's got a good enough taste. It's got a distinctive, unique taste to it here in a good way that I could not, in good conscience, do a brew review time and not recommend this brew here for you right there. So, and it comes to us at 4.4% alcohol by volume. So it's not going to blow your skirt up, with the first beer, with the first bottle of it that you drink right there. You probably have to drink quite a bit of this right here to really feel anything. But it's got that good taste to it right there, and so you can drink this in bulk. There you go. Not you kids, not you kids. No, no, bad kid, bad kids. No beer for you. Okay, it's for us adults over here. Yeah. All right. But anyway, so I'm recommending this right here, and I'm recommending to myself that I drink some right now. Excellent, excellent. All right, and you may be able to get it like on an app on your phone, like Open Bar. There, again, that's an app on your phone, or GoPuff.com, or if you've got it in your area, Uber Eats. I mean, this is not the most obscure underground beer that I've ever reviewed, so it's relatively prevalent and all of that stuff right there. But all right, with that, let's wrap up this brew review time. Okay, and just want to let you guys know that yes, we do have a link to Movies Merica merch there. So, and I'll do this here real quick and just show you give you a little preview, not a little preview, but a little visual stimulation for the Movies America merch right here. So let's we're gonna do that, get that out of there, and do this over here. There we go. Sweet, sweet meat. Love to eat. I don't know why I'm saying that. All right, here's the Movies America merch store right here. So just kind of go through this real quick here and let you guys know that we've got like this hat right here. It's a feature item up at the top. Full disclosure, there's no purple on that hat, unfortunately, right there. But everything else down here is what you see is what you get here. Of course, that hat, except of course that hat right there. But we got different Movies America types of logos, different types of apparel here. You got T-shirts and you got wife beaters and baseball long sleeve shirts, and hoodies and windbreakers. There, we got another Movies America logo. Here's the Holly Weird Movies America logo on all this stuff here. Also got my personal favorite Movies America logo type. It's the Black Adam Movies America. There, it just stands out there, right? Just gets in your face, just it's bold and brave right there. But excuse me. Yeah, so check that out there. And then you might be like, hey, you know what? I got enough clothes in my closet there, Van. I don't need any more. But I am kind of thirsty all the time. So hey, do you have any drinkware? Well, there you go. Right there in your face. Do we have drinkware? Oh yeah, we got drinkware. I got coffee mugs and got this can-shaped glass. That's a glass right there. That's a glass, but it looks like a can. Pretty cool. I got a pint glass here, got a koozie and all that stuff. So yeah, we got a number of different Movies America merch items there for your pleasure. And they might make a pretty good. Not might. They do make a very good gift because it's like a good talking point, right? It's a good talk. It's good. Way to start a conversation there. They might be like, "What's Movies America?" You can tell them all about Movies America, and maybe you'll have them convinced to check out an episode or two. So there we go. So we're gonna stop sharing that right there. But again, the link, the web URL, the website link to that page we were just looking at right there is down in the description. So just look for a mention of Movies Merica merch over there. There you go. All right, enough about that for right now. Let's get that out of. Whoops, there you go. There you go. I'm giving up my crap. There we go. You know, you saw it for yourself. Later on, I'm going to do a tribute to Robert Duvall right there. But anyway, there we go. Let's do this here. Actually, that's next on the docket. So might as well do it right now. There you go. A well-oiled machine right now. I totally have this thing totally handled here. But real quick here, let me do this here. I just gotta do something here on the. Let's see here. Check something out here. All right. Get this going on here. Trying to multitask over here. So if you weren't able to tell, okay, do this here. And get in there. I know it must be fascinating. Listen to me over here doing this stuff right here. So there we go. Okay. All right. Excellent. Okay. So yes, let's do this real quick here. And so as you guys heard, and as you just heard me mention, because I don't know how to run this software very well, and I just revealed what I was going to talk about next. As you heard, Robert Duvall, a screen legend, passed away earlier this week at the age of 95, I believe. And so, unfortunately, we're getting that part of my life here, and of course, because it's all about me, and I want to make it all about me. Where classic actors, legendary actors that I grew up with are unfortunately, shedding that mortal coil and leaving this world and passing away here. And we had Gene Hackman. Last year was another big one where I was like, God, Gene Hackman, I grew up with that guy and all kinds of stuff. And now we've got Robert Duvall. And I'm trying to think, like the first movie I ever saw with Robert Duvall in it. I'm trying to think, it was like maybe. It might have been The Godfather. It might have been The Godfather. Yeah, when we plays Tom Hagen there, so it might have been The Godfather. But yeah, he was he was like in The Godfather. He played Tom Hagen, who was the brother of Michael and Sonny and Fredo Corleone, and son to Vito Corleone, and he was the consigliere. Okay, so kind of like the advisor, to the family right there, kind of considered like a non-combatant, right? Like if like you see in the first Godfather when Salazzo takes Tom Hagen prisoner. Salazzo says something along the lines of like what, I know you're not armed, or I know you're not I know you're not a soldier. I'm not going to harm you, Tom. So let's just get this out there right now. I know you can rest easy. No harm will come to you, Tom, because I know you're not a soldier. You're more of a messenger. And so, and he was very intelligent in both those movies as Tom Hagen, and he just gave good counsel to Sonny. As hard as it was to give counsel to his brother Sonny Corleone, because Sonny Corleone, had this famous temper there, as Salazzo also says in The Godfather there, and so as Tom Hagen, he's got to give him counsel and advice and all of that stuff right there, and he does come up with some good ideas there, along with Michael Corleone. Michael Corleone's that the guy who has the idea of whacking the head of the other four mafia families in New York, at the end during his nephew's baptism there. So good stuff like that. And then we saw Robert Duvall. He he was in the movie MASH there, and also he was trying to think of the next movie that I would have seen him in. Godfather Part 2. He was Godfather Part 2 there as well, where he was providing legal counsel, and he had to deal with Frank Pantangeli and all these other plot twists and characters and that kind of thing. And then also he had his famous very brief appearance in Apocalypse Now as Colonel Kilgore, with his famous line like, "I love the smell of napalm in the morning," and Charlie, don't surf, you know. I just love that character. Like, you either fight or you surf. It's a great character in that movie. I mean, he's just walking around, you know, while mortar shells are hitting the beach, and he's not even phased whatsoever. Okay, because like the NVA or the Viet Cong, they're like dropping mortar shells on the beach, and he's like walking around, you know, without a care in the world, and try to get Lance, all prepped up and motivated to go out there surfing. And of course, Lance is understandably like, I don't want to go surfing right now. I'm going to get shot. I'm going to get bombed out there. Like, is there bigger things to worry about and that kind of thing? And then Lance has to point out to him, like, that surf, it's not even surfing right now. I'm going to wait for the tide to come in. You know, it's like 6 hours from now. But anyway, so that's Apocalypse Now, him playing Colonel Kilgore. That he was in Tender Mercies, which earned him his Oscar, his Best Actor Oscar there. One of the movies that I really like him in that doesn't get mentioned very often, if at all, is when he was in the movie Phenomenon with John Travolta. And he played John Travolta's, doctor, okay, because Phenomenon takes place like a small little California town there with, like, not even one stoplight. Right? It's a very small little town, and Robert Duvall just plays like the town doctor, right? Kind of like Moonlight Graham in Field of Dreams, right? So he's the town doctor, and there's a scene in there where John Travolta is laying in a hospital bed, and I'm not going to spoil the movie, but Robert Duvall, he sees John Travolta as a son, and he says, like, I feel like I'm losing a son here. And it's a very touching scene there. But then Robert Duvall has some other, like, very funny, touching moments in the movie Phenomenon. So, but yeah, I would check that out. And it's Phenomenon. No, it's not the LL Cool J CD or whatever album. It's Phenomenon, the movie. Okay. And so Robert Duvall is very good at it. And John Travolta and Forrest Whitaker and Kira Sedgwick are very good in Phenomenon there as well. Of course, he played a Harry Hogg, the crew chief in Days of Thunder, Mr. Rubbin is racing. Okay. Like, he didn't hit you. He didn't tap you. He rubbed you. And son, rubbing is racing. Okay. And so Harry Hogg has to put up with Tom Cruise's Cold Trickle in Days of Thunder. What else have I seen him in here recently? Phenomenon. Anyway, let's I'm gonna just go ahead and I'll share this video here with you. Let me do this here, take care of some stuff here. But I thought this was like, kind of halfway decent tribute to Robert Duvall right here. So let's check it out.
Tonight, one of Hollywood's most memorable legends, Robert Duvall, has died. The Academy Award winner enjoyed a long and storied career, carving out a lane as both an unorthodox leading man and a supporting player in some of the greatest films in movie history.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Over a career spanning more than 60 years, Robert Duvall became one of America's most respected and versatile actors in Hollywood history, known for his incredible range and command of the screen.
Clarence, take it easy. How the hell could I see it? It's just going on now.
He got his start on an early classic, playing Boo Radley in 1962's To Kill a Mockingbird, a wordless role in which he made a mark. A broad spectrum of films and roles followed. The villain opposite John Wayne in the epic American Western True Grit, and the inept and often pompous Major Frank Burns in MASH.
Keep your filthy mouth to yourself. Or does she go?
But it wasn't until the role of Tom Hagen for The Godfather, a concerned lawyer and consigliere for the Corleone crime family, that would launch Duvall's career.
Even the shooting of your father was business, not personal, Sonny.
Well, I always knew after Godfather 1 I would do maybe okay, but I knew that it might happen in 10 years after everybody else. And I was Somebody once said between 25 and 40, they're good actors. After that, something happens in a negative way. So I always try to remember that and think of myself in the potential. As I grow older, I have more experience and I feel I have more to offer, that I can become a better performer.
Duvall was known for bringing naturalism to his roles. His ability to transform reached another high mark in 1979, when he played a tyrannical father and fighter pilot in The Great Santini.
Hey, Mama's boy. Mama's boy. I bet you're gonna cry. Come on, Mama's boy.
That same year, some of his most memorable work in less than 20 minutes of total screen time, playing Lieutenant Colonel Kilgore in Apocalypse Now. Duvall was nominated for 7 Oscars, winning his only one for his performance as a washed-up country music star in the much quieter Tender Mercies.
And let me rest my head for a while.
Duvall also stepped behind the camera, writing and directing, as well as starring in The Apostle as a deeply flawed preacher seeking redemption. The performance would earn him another Academy Award nomination. He was nominated for multiple Emmys as well, including for one of his best roles in the miniseries Lonesome Dove as Ranger Gus McCrae.
I'm giving you a reason to go off on another adventure.
The show was a huge hit and set a new standard for television series. In all, Duvall had more than 140 film and television acting credits and remained active into his 90s. His family said he died peacefully in his home in Virginia. Robert Duvall was 95 years old. Still to come on the News Hour, Tamara Keith and Amy.
There we go. All right. So I thought it was a pretty good tribute there. But yeah, the guy's a legend. He's looking at his filmography. They're like, oh, that's right. He was in that movie. He was in that movie. He was in this movie. He was in that movie. Like amazing there. And, he's not the flashiest actor out there. He's not in your face. And, he's not Gary Oldman or Christopher Walken. He's not just like very bombastic and emphatic and anything like that. But he was charismatic in a subtle way. And you know what? That takes skill. That does take skill. To do that. He never came off as try-hard or anything like that in his roles. And he was, he was a mentor to Billy Bob Thornton. And Billy Bob Thornton, of course, is, grieving him here. But Billy Bob Thornton is an actor that is associated a lot with Robert Duvall here. And they actually made 7 movies together there. And it was Robert Duvall played Billy Bob Thornton's dad in Sling Blade. They were in the movie The Judge together. It was a Robert Downey Jr. was also in that movie The Judge there. So, so yeah, if you look up like Billy Bob Thornton, Robert Duvall, if you Google that, chances are you're gonna find a interview with the Billy Bob Thornton on the Rich Eisen show there, and that's a pretty good interview there with Billy Bob Thornton, telling some great stories about Robert Duvall. And one of the stories is that Robert Duvall and Billy Bob Thornton knew each other for 25, 26 years or something like that. And Billy Bob Thornton, he hasn't eaten red meat in 28 years. And so he had to pretend for Robert Duvall a lot that he did eat meat, right? And so Billy Bob Thornton was talking about his history of having to hide the fact that he was vegan, and he was talking about Robert Duvall. Not only is Billy Bob Thornton a vegan, Robert Duvall is like a freaking voracious meat eater. He's a barbecue freak. He's a steak freak. Okay, and every single time they were together, Robert Duvall would be like, man, let's check out this barbecue place over here. It's the best, And Billy Bob Thornton would be like, wait, I thought you just said this barbecue place in Fort Worth was the best. Like, no, this is the new best. So he's taking all these barbecue places and steak joints. And Billy Bob Thornton just had to for 25, 26 years, just try to hide the fact from Robert Duvall that he was a vegan. So sometimes he would go out there to a restaurant with Robert Duvall, and he would order stuff like the big portobello mushrooms that kind of look like a steak there, or he would order a salad, like a quinoa salad, And then Robert Duvall would be like, hey, what is that? What is that? And Billy Bob Thornton would have to say, oh, hey, don't worry, Bob. This is the salad before the big old steak arrives. The steak is coming. The big steak's coming here, Bob. Don't you worry there, Bob. Okay. What another thing that Billy Bob Thornton would do to help out with his endeavor to hide the truth is when Robert Duvall, or Bob as he called him, when Bob Duvall, if you got him talking about a topic that he really loved, I don't know, the tango, or something like that, or cowboy stuff, or that kind of. If you got him talking about something, he would have like blinders on. He would not be attentive. He would not notice anything else that was going on. He would just be so locked in to the topic that he's talking about. And so Billy Bob Thornton said a lot of times I could get away with like ordering whatever I wanted that wasn't meat, and Bob would never notice because he was just so zeroed in and laser focused on talking about one of his favorite subjects to the people around the table and that kind of thing. So I just thought it was kind of a fun little story, a little anecdote, about from Billy Bob Thornton, a guy that spent a lot of time with Robert or Bob Duvall there. So, but I wanted to just give a few minutes there to to pay tribute to Robert Duvall, because man, it's a guy I grew up with, man. I'll tell you, it's sad, very sad. All right, here we go. All right, let's do this here. I just want to make sure I'm not missing out on anything right here. Make sure I've got everything locked down and all the doors locked and all the lights turned off and all of that stuff right here. We're good to go right there. All right, I think we're all right. We are to my personal favorite segment of every Movies Merica spoiler warning show, the Thursday night show there. And that, of course, is the movie military moment. If you've ever watched an episode of Spoiler Warning, and you've heard me say that there. And to let you know what the movie military moment is, just like I paid tribute just now to Robert Duvall, this is an opportunity to pay tribute that I give myself to recipients of the Congressional Medal of Honor, okay? And so now some of you might be asking yourself, rightfully, and I get it, that maybe you might be saying, "Hey, Van, that's very honorable. It's very charitable of you to pay tribute to some military heroes that were awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor." But answer me this: what does that have to do with movies and reviewing movies, my man? And I will tell you, okay, there is a connection. Believe it or not, there is a connection. You may not be able to fathom that connection or think of that connection right now. That doesn't mean there's not a connection, all right? And that connection is, I'm not going to tell you until after this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I owe you an explanation, all right? And so the connection between me paying tribute to these heroes and movies is, as you would imagine, if you're a recipient of the Congressional Medal of Honor, you didn't get it for being the best officer chauffeur on the base, or being the best slop disher outer. Does that make sense? At the base chow hall, or being the best letter sorter at the base post office. No. Yeah, you didn't get it for doing something lame like that. You did it for doing something that is totally selfless, dangerous, explosive, bloody, just frenzied and in the middle of battle, right? Where your life and limb is at stake, right? Something where if you were there and you were watching, this military hero go through the actions that eventually would win him the Congressional Medal of Honor. If you were there to see that, you'd be like, oh my God, what am I watching? Oh, that's so cool. I can't believe wow. And it would just make it'd sear an imprint, a memory, or sear an imprint into your memory right there. You would never, ever forget it, right? And so it could be, something like you got a guy where he's on a tank, right? And he quickly realizes, like, man, him and his men are totally outnumbered, all right? And so he, just to give his men a chance to, like, to evac out of there, he goes out there, he goes after the enemy himself. He starts spraying down the Japs or the Germans or the Krauts or whatever, right? And he's lobbing grenades and all that stuff, all while his buddies are like, hauling butt the other way because they gotta do a strategic retreat, right? But as you know, if you've ever studied military history, you can't just have everybody just start retreating at the same time, right? Otherwise, y'all gonna get killed, all right? And you gotta have some forces, some guys, to kind of hold them back while the rest of excuse me, excuse me, while the the rest of them, retreat, right? And so you got like a soldier would volunteer and lay his, and risk life and limb to just stay behind, and he's mowing down people, and maybe he ends up giving up his life. But if you're one of those soldiers retreating and you're looking back and you're seeing this guy, he's lobbing grenades, he's grabbing flamethrowers, cooking up some jabs, and just grabbing his his M2 and or his M1, sorry, and just ventilating some jabs, all that, all by himself, and eventually giving up his life to save his fellow soldiers. That would be a amazing moment to see. If you saw it on a big movie screen in front of you, it would be a amazing movie military moment. And that's the connection. There you go. All right. So now that that's been explained to you, okay, let's get into this movie military moment here, and going to reveal tonight's special honoree, and that is going to be Private First Class Robert Lee Wilson, who fought in World War II, and his Medal of Honor action place was Tinian Island and the Mariana Island there, so in the Pacific there. And so, should we learn more about Private First Class Wilson? I think we should, right? But I think Private First Class Wilson deserves some sweet movie military moment music, don't you? I think so. So let's take care of that business right now. This is the movie military moment. And on this movie military moment, we pay tribute to one Private First Class Robert Lee Wilson, who fought for this country during World War II on Tinian Island. And let's learn more about Private First Class Wilson, shall we? For conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty while serving with the 2nd Battalion, 6th Marines, 2nd Marine Division during action against enemy Japanese forces at Tinian Island, Marianas Group on 4 August 1944. As one of a group of Marines advancing through heavy underbrush to neutralize isolated points of resistance, Private First Class Wilson daringly preceded his companions toward a pile of rocks where Japanese troops were supposed to be hiding. Fully aware of the danger involved, he was moving forward while the remainder of the squad, armed with automatic rifles, closed together in the rear when an enemy grenade landed in the midst of the group. Quick to act, Private First Class Wilson cried a warning to the men and unhesitatingly threw himself at the grenade, heroically sacrificing his own life that the others might live and fulfill their mission. Full valor, this courageous loyalty, unwavering devotion to duty in the face of grave peril reflect the highest credit upon Private First Class Wilson and the Naval Service. He gallantly gave his life for his country. And we salute you, Private First Class Robert Lee Wilson, for what you did for your fellow soldiers and for your country. And that has been the movie Military Moment. Wow, that's man. Unhesitatingly saw that grenade, and where most other people would be pissing themselves running the other way, this guy was like, you know what? My brother's about to die. You know what? I'm not gonna let that happen, man. I'm taking myself out. All right. And I'm doing my job. All right. My part of my job is to protect my brothers, my band of brothers, right? And just fantastic. And if you don't want to have to wait to watch, a movie Military Moment segment here to hear about heroes like this, you do not have to wait. You can go to a website here of cmohs.org/recipients. I guess that's cmohs.org/recipients. And you can read all these Medal of Honor winner citations here. And it's motivating, man. I'll tell you, it will get your butt up off the couch. All right. Once you read about what these guys did here, you might wake up and inside your head like, oh man, I don't feel like doing nothing today, man. I'm going to give me a breakfast burrito. I'm just going to lay on the couch all day long and scratch my belly button and do nothing. At that point, if you know that's what you're thinking, rush your ass to cmohs.org/recipients and read at least one citation in here, and you will be motivated, man. You're gonna be like Popeye popping a can of spinach, man. All right, you are going to be motivated to get some stuff done. All right, and so yeah, that's what I do sometimes, because I have days like that too, where I'll wake up and I'm just scratching my head, and I don't really want to do nothing today, and then I go read these citations, and I'm like, next thing you know, I'm making a to-do list for the day, and it's not a short to-do list. All right, I'm motivated. All right, there you go. All right, but hey, with that, I just wanted to let you guys know that, or go through that tribute here for Private First Class Wilson. But with that has been the movie Military Moment. All right. So, and now to let you know what movie I will be going over next week. So, which movie I will be spoiler-free reviewing this Sunday, and then what movie we'll be going over next week, a week from tonight, on Movies Merica. Spoiler warning: the very show you're watching right now, and that movie is going to be How to Make a Killing, and that is the new Glenn Powell movie. With Margaret Qualley in it, and I think who else is in it? Oh, Ed Harris is in it as well. It's like a mystery thriller comedy kind of thing with Glenn Powell trying to basically the basic plot is as far as like how it's portrayed is he's trying to kill his way to being the recipient of a family inheritance is what that is, and it looks like just at least in part. To get down Margaret Qualley's pants, basically. So I don't know, totally ununderstandable. Who could picture Margaret Qualley as a motivation to do that? Yeah. Anyway, and Margaret Qualley, in case you didn't know, little useless movie trivia. Margaret Qualley is the daughter of Andie MacDowell. Okay, so and if Andie MacDowell. If that doesn't strike an image in your head right away, just search for Andie MacDowell and be like, oh, okay. And probably a lot of people know her most as the love interest to Bill Murray on Groundhog Day. Okay, but she was also the hottie that Emilio Estevez was thirsting over in St. Elmo's Fire there as well. So, but Margaret Qualley is her daughter right there. Margaret Qualley was the recently in The Substance with Demi Moore. Last year, she was like the hot young version of Demi Moore's character. there. But and also she was the hippie girl that caught a ride with Brad Pitt in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood there as well. So Margaret Qualley there. But that'll be the movie that I'll be spoiler-free reviewing on Sunday afternoon on Movies America Live. And that show comes on at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Mountain, and 1 p.m. Pacific Sunday afternoon there. Okay, that's Movies America Live. And then yeah, you know what time this show comes on because you're watching it right now. There on Thursday nights. Comes on at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, 5 Mountain, and 4 Pacific time on Thursday nights. That's Movies America Spoiler Warning, the show where I don't worry if I drop spoilers. I mean, you heard me drop some major spoilers tonight on all about good luck, have fun, don't die there. So, but that's what I'm going to be going over next week. There you go. Just trying to keep you guys all in the know. And so also just want to implore you, if you would, follow me on the platforms that I'm on. I'm on X. I'm on Rumble. If you look up Movies America on Rumble, you see like 3 accounts that I know of there. And I would just follow all 3 of them there. So and follow all 3 of them. Hit the notification bell. Well, I would don't do that. Just do follow on all 3 of those if you would. I'm on Facebook. I've got a Movies America group, a Movies America page on Facebook. Also, I have my Van Ebert profile on Facebook. So yeah, go ahead and follow me or whatever it is you do on Facebook to that. Friend me. There you go. That's what I think it's friend me. There you go. And when you friend me, like maybe put a note in there like, hey, I saw your Movies America. Friend me, chump. Well, don't put the word chump in there. That might not help your case. There you go. And then also on gab.com and on Instagram as well. So, but yeah, follow me on those platforms right there. And hey, if you DM me in X at my Movies America account and just let me know that you follow me on any platform, then I'll follow you back. So that's the least I could do right there. Okay. So, all right. We're getting ready to wrap up the show, getting ready to turn out the lights on this episode of Movies America Spoiler Warning. But just want to thank everybody. I want to thank my movie maniacs and my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics for joining the show here tonight. Little slower show tonight because I'm not surprised because, yeah, good luck, have fun, don't die. Probably about 3 people saw it at the theater. So probably not a whole lot of excitement to talk about the movie. So I think more people saw Belly Button Lint, the motion picture, than this movie here this week. So there you go. But anyway, so like I always say, everybody, get out there, people. Those movies aren't going to watch themselves. See ya. Howdy, my movie maniacs and my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics. Would you do me a favor and check me out at solo.to/moviesmerica? That's where you would go for a one-stop shop for all the links that have to do with me, Movies Merica. And then also, if you want to check out the audio-only podcast versions of my Movies Merica live episodes, that's my spoiler-free reviews that I do on Sunday, you can go to moviesmerica.com or Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, places like that. And then, actually, if you would also check me out on the social media sites like X and Instagram and Facebook and Gab. And I'm on those locations all under @MoviesMerica. So it is very easy to find me out there, all right? So get to it, everybody. All right, thanks for watching. Later.
Hey guys, don't leave the video quite yet. Okay, I've got the popo. They're coming after me, and I don't have much time to tell you, but you need to like and subscribe this video right here, down below. It's right down there. It's just what. is waiting for you down there, okay? And make sure you watch these videos over here, too. You'll be doing me a big favor. I'll be in handcuffs pretty soon. All right. Thanks for watching.